Innisfree. And look at this man says, I arise and go to the lake Isle of Innisfree. As though he was raising himself like Milton's Satan, you see, with his nimbus head, and he was moving himself like a huge juggernaut, you see, and he was moving, and his progress was really threatening to nature. Where is he going? To the lake Isle of Innisfree. And what is he going? Therefore, he goes there with a kind of plan, civilizing plan in head, that I will make myself 9 rows of beams, and I will meet the honey from the bees. So he is going there as a colonizer. So if you just look it from nature's point of view, yes, turns out to be a villain. See, not that poet of great admiration. See, he is going there to exploit nature, to really realize his poetic self. Realize his poetic self, not for nature, not for the bees, not for the, for the land, soil. He is going to exploit nature to his own end. So this self-glorification, self-aggrandizement is the mark of all. And take another poem by Coleridge. All of you are familiar with that, Kubla Khan. Look at the Kubla Khan is a real place, and a tyrant goes there. And we see that he is a tyrannical man, he tyrannizes over people and kills people, and there he forces a plot of land and converts it into his pleasure dome. That becomes another potential point of this entropy, you see. It's going to collapse. And we hear in the poem that Kubla Khan can hear his ancestral voices prophesying from the distant time that this is going to end up in ruins. You can't, though you have come far away from people for a pleasure dome, this pleasure dome is eventually going to collapse. It will be claimed by nature. You know this. Because nature will restore equilibrium one way or the other. See, it will claim. It's a kind of, for nature, always there is a reclamation work goes on. It cannot. You have taken your area, but for a limited time. One day, this will be claimed by nature, you see. So that is the point of view. And so I was talking about this. Then I will talk about. I think I will finish this one because I have not much to say. Then you have another point of view is nature. And this poem is very interesting. That father was a peasant, son becomes a poet, and we count it as family progress. And that father is doing well. You have done well because you have you have leave the plough behind and end up in Oxford University's chair of poetry, you see, Masud. But what has happened is that he is using, in this poem to digging, I'm sure that you have this poem with you, and you can read this poem. He says, my father was different. He was a very strong man. There is great admiration of the poet for his father, for his ancestor there. But in his generation, he has come away from there. And the plough, the spade in his hand has shrunken into a pen. And pen has become the first term of the binary now. More respected. And the father, and he says his father was a great worker, his master was like this, and he used to take this to Toner Bog and so on, you remember this poem, and in that poem he's talking about this. But later on, he's talking with a kind of guilt feeling that I had to give up. I don't know why he had to give up, because he was a bright student, he proceeded to Oxford University and became a poet laureate for a while, and professor of poetry, and he's a great name, and you know that Shemasin is a great poet too, you see. And he got the Nobel Prize, I think. And so Shemasin. And so Shemasin is, what is he saying about this? And if you notice this, pen, spade, brain, soil, poetry, potatoes. So, and he's saying there that I am also doing the digging, but with the pen. So, what kind of crop am I raising? It is potatoes. It is poetry. And poetry has replaced potatoes. So what has happened is that the real thing has been converted into a metaphor, distancing from the real to the unreal, from the objective to the subjective. So this kind of displacement is what we call civilization, you see, because the more and more abstract thinking you are capable of, you are more civilized. And that's why children are less civilized and we are more civilized. Because we can be more wicked, children are not wicked. So in this way, you have this development. And so what they say is that nature is a concept by the centrists, but the kind of talk we are going through is decentering talk. That when we are going to say that nature is something there, out there. You can't say that if I say nature doesn't exist. It is there in objective space, it is nature. But what has happened that when you don't understand nature, in ancient times people would worship nature as gods, deities, different deities. And we are doing the same thing. We have all kinds of speculation. The sea, another thing, the sea. The sea is the other again. Because, you know, this Moby Dick, Captain Ahab, is pursuing Moby Dick. Why is he pursuing Moby Dick? Because Moby Dick for him represents the mask of God. If he could tear it off, he expects that he could see the face of God, the face that has been tormenting him. So he gets destroyed because it's the real ocean, you see. The real ocean. So his ideas, obsessions, a driven man is going and then he's claimed by the ocean. And what is the line? That Moby Dick, at the end of the Moby Dick, that waves are flowing as they used to flow thousands of years ago, you see. And he was claimed by the ocean. So, ocean is real. So, conceptually, what is happening is that your concept is turning your brain into a kind of your own death trap, your own entropy. And you saw that the real entropy happened after First World War, which has been so marvelously recorded by T.S. Eliot in the Westland. And there is a beautiful line by him, the river Thames sweats oil and tar, you see. So sweating, the ocean is sweating, the river is sweating, the water is sweating. That what is sweating then is a wild sleep you have now, wild sleep, and if there is wild sleep, life under that sleep cannot live. The organisms will die, you see. So eventually, and you cannot really live on when the organisms around you are dying. So what is happening is that Eliot is connecting a kind of entropy that was created by the human being and going back to swallow the creators up, you see. So that is the point. So when you are studying the eco-critical text and eco-writing or nature writing, you have to understand that what is objective reality, what is construct and what is not construct, what is true and what is a kind of speculation. So we have done a lot of, as Michel Foucault said, about 80% to 90% of our ideas are constructed. They are not real. They have been created by language, linguistically, socially and politically created things to gain advantage one or the other. Somehow you gain advantage of that, but these terms, these ideas are piling up in our vocabulary, you see. And once you have acquired them, there is no running away from them. They will come out like genie from the bottle. See, one or the other, they will come out. And what happens is that you are thinking and you are putting it away in the drawer. Then the drawer, some other people will open and this will come out and destroy you. So these are the entropic thoughts we create. So for the eco-critic,